out, so just y'all forgive me. Um, Welcome everybody to the 2020 Savage Clothing Podcast with one of my top leaders of the team, Mr. Devonne Jackson himself, all the
What's up?
way from
What's up?
Calexico, California. And then you have my little sister, who is one of the most elaborate but most shyest people I've ever met, Mrs. Jeanette Romo. Put y'all hands together, put y'all comment in the chat and everything. We're going to be talking about a very powerful topic, something that I have been wanting to talk about for a very, very, very long time. Um, Under the note of why can't some leaders be friends? So I'm not going to start off. Devon is not going to start off. I'm having Mrs. Jeanette go in on the first one. So let me ask you this. In your opinion, in your eyes, from what you have experienced through a leadership position, why do you think some leaders cannot be friends?
Well, hi. I have had a lot of like really really bad experiences when it comes to mixing leadership and friendship. It hasn't been really pretty. I think for the most part it's just because like when you're a leader you tend to obviously lead groups and stuff like that. So it's like you have that leadership personality in you, and that tends to clash when someone else wants to be a leader as well. You know, so like if you want both of you guys to be leaders, there's gonna be some clash, like just off the bat, because either you're a leader or you're a follower, and if you're both leaders, it's kind of like, all right, well, who's gonna do what? And like in my experiences, it's like people tend to feel like, okay, if I'm going to give you like a personal example, in like the group that I was in, um we had a kind of election, you can say, between the group that we were in. So you have to separate, your friendships from when you're actually in a business meeting and like the decisions you make. So like there was this girl trying to befriend everyone in order for them to vote for her for a certain position. Little did she know that I was actually going to run for that position as well. And like I was already cool with everyone, like not even like trying. And then so I ended up winning, and she hated, blocked, and everything, like talked bad about everyone that voted against her, just because, like, I mean, she ended up losing. So it was kind of like, okay, sis, like you have to know how to separate like what we decide on a business meeting and like what we do outside of, I guess, leadership roles. So I feel like things can get really, really mixed up when you do mix the two.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Good response. Good response. Devon, Mr. Jackson, same question. Why do you think some leaders can be friends?
So I agree with Jeanette. When she said that two people they tend to clash, especially when they're both leaders, and I see that more happening when people have strong personalities. Usually, leaders they have really strong personalities. They're really straightforward, and they want things done their way, which is why they're leaders. So you can see that if it's working together on trying, let's say, a brand. So if leader has one vision and another one has a different one, and they're all like, no, well, that doesn't make sense because if we do it this way, then A, B, and C is going to happen. And then vice versa, the other person's going to be like, but if we do it this way, then A, B, and C is going to happen. And it's going to be really hard to stay in tune, basically. Like, of course you guys are going to come up with like some like, oh, okay, like I didn't even think of that, like that was an awesome idea and stuff. But most of the time the other person can be all like, oh, well, I know what I'm doing. Like if they really want to get down to the nitty gritty, like they're going to be like, oh, well, I've been doing this for this many years, how long have you been doing it?
Yeah.
Like, and I feel that it can just cause a break. Like if it's a friendship, I feel that it can cause like already a friendship before like doing before being both leaders. um like if it's one friend that's saying like, hey, I have this idea, and then that friend, like they both work on that idea together, and then now when it comes to assigning positions and roles, I feel that they're going to be all like, okay, but I'm the leader too. And they're all like, yeah, but we set this, and then it's gonna spiral down into someone wanting dominance over the other. because there's always going to be that one person who wants to have that control over everybody and everything. So that's why I think leaders can't be friends with other leaders, because it's just going to cause that big dilemma of, but I want it this way, I want it this way, and they're just going to clash because their visions can't be combined, or they can't agree on the way for both of their visions to be combined, or they can't meet in the middle of doing both of their ways. Like, it has to be one way or another. And I mean, there are some people who can work with it, but in the long run, they're still going to have those clashes. Like, no, I don't want it like this, I want it like this. Like, they're very persistent on on a specific way that they want it done.
Okay, okay. Um, let me let me say this. I'm about to go in because when I tell you I've been ready for this conversation, y'all don't understand. Um, one of the first things that I can say is you cannot be friends with someone who wants your life, and that's just it is what it is. Um, you have to be cautious of individuals uh, who may not be on the same level as you, and whether it be like itinerary, whether it be what your schedule is, what your calendar looks like, how successful you are. I'm gonna cut that out so y'all forgive me. So it's you got to be careful. Another thing is if you are a leader, um, and if you are as a leader, you're not cautious on how people perceive things or even how you deliver things in many senses. Um, People can become very closed off. People can back off. They may not take certain comments. They may not take certain criticism from you if you give off the perception, or you give off the vibe. You know, you're not it. So, like, for example, if I see something in you, Jeanette, if I see something in you, Devonne, and it's not in my eyes, not looking good for you, if you're doing something, whether it be in business, whether it be in you know your own personal business, if I say, hey, yo, that doesn't look good for you, you need to do it kind of this way, or try to take a look at it this way. If you are not um, um, in a place of maturity, it's kind of going to be like, well, who do you think you are? You don't have the capability. You don't have the power to tell me, you know, this is how I should do it. But if for leaders, and if you're in a place of maturity, always make sure that we're coming with a same level mindset. So that's kind of one of the big things, and one of the things that I like have experienced in leadership uh, is jealousy. Jealousy is a real big thing, and to be transparent, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started my first business, not Savage, uh, I was jealous. I was jealous of a few people that I knew. I was like, I have it like this, but you guys are having it at a higher level. And I was jealous, but I had to come to the realization that me being jealous is not going to change anything. If we're leaders, number one, we should take criticism from each other, because one of the big things that I tell people, never take constructive criticism from people who have never built anything. So, and for instance, I've had people on the Savage team come to me and be like, hey, uh, I don't like the way that's done. You need to do it this way. I don't like the way you handle this. You need to do it that way. But if I go down your resume, all you do is work at McDonald's and flip hamburgers. Where have you been in the business aspect? Where have you built a company from the ground up? Where have you built anything in your life that has, you know, created a foundation for you? But you want to come tell me this is how I should do something. So I think leaders, and I'm gonna pass it back to Jeanette. I think leaders should always come together, build maturity, build a friendship first, and then build a business relationship. So I think that's kind of where I stand with it. So Jeanette, I'm gonna hand it back over to you. Let me ask you this: what is one thing you have learned in
Wait,
leadership?
wait, wait. Can I cut you off?
Yes.
Can we bring the topic back around? I want to respond to what you mentioned.
Okay. Okay.
I want to respectfully disagree with your opinion, not with you individually, but with your opinion.
Okay. Go ahead.
There's a level of maturity to be able to do that. Not, I mean, at least I've learned in leadership roles that you don't disagree with the person, you disagree with the idea. And a lot of people cannot do that. They're like, no, I disagree with this person. Like, no, you disagree with what they said, just not, you know what I mean? So I disagree with the fact that like constructive criticism can come from anywhere and it should be taken in consideration no matter who it's coming from, I believe. Because even though, like, let's say, or like a resume, how you mentioned a resume can say so much, or like how you say, like, maybe grades can mean so much, but there is more to a person than just paper.
Right.
So you never know what they've actually experienced or what they do know, and you never know how it can be helpful. I feel like if people, constructive criticism always comes from a good place, unless it's actual criticism.
Mhm.
So, but if it's constructive, like, I mean, they're reaching out to you because they see something is sort of lacking, and maybe they don't know that, or maybe they think that you didn't notice, or like, hey, I've noticed this, and they're trying to come from a good place, but it shouldn't always be like, hey, you don't know what I'm going through, blah blah. It shouldn't always be defensive. It's like, oh, what made you think that? Like, oh, I did catch up on that, but like, let's talk about it. Like to make you feel better and not think that I needed that, or maybe I did need that. I don't know. I feel like it could have. It doesn't matter who it's coming from, to in my opinion, because it's like, okay, then there's something that I'm not doing right. Maybe there's some miscommunication, blah blah. That's
I,
what I think.
I can understand that. For me, I'm just speaking from experience. Um, I've seen people who have come onto a team and come on into a business, and they don't want to. First off, I'm not going to say submit to the leader, but follow instructions, because as a leader, if you come into something and you don't know how to be a leader, in my opinion, if you don't know how to be a leader and you have never been one, you should not come into something showing the leader or telling the leader how things should be ran. Because, for instance, um, if I was not the owner of Savage and Jeanette, you were, and I came in and you knew the whole leadership aspect of business, and me not knowing anything, if I came to you and I joined your team, not having any training, not having any uh, platform or foundation of leadership, if I came and was like, no, you need to do it like that, or you should do it like that, or um, people need to have it done like this, or this is how you need to do it, how do you think you would feel? It would be coming from, like, it's like, bro, in my opinion, it's like, where is your leadership foundation? If it's just, I don't know. I think it's just from experience. If you have never been a leader, you should not tell a leader how to be a leader. If you have never been a construction worker, and you are a electrician, you should not come and tell another position how it should be ran if you've never done it. So I just think that leaders shouldn't. I'll say this. I'll take back my statement. I'll say leaders should not always take criticism from everybody. I'll say that, and there are reasons why. You know, people can come from and that's another thing you have to be careful. If you get criticism from somebody, what are their intentions? If they come to you and say it needs to be done like this, and you don't look at it and you don't see the intention of this person, what happens if this is the person that is giving you this criticism, and all of a sudden you do what they tell you to do, and then it falls apart? So it's kind of like you kind of got to look at it on both sides. For me, I would say you don't take criticism from everybody. That's just me. So Jeanette, I'm gonna hand it back to you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hand it back to you. I'm gonna hand it back to you.
Okay, no, well, I understand what you mean by that. Don't take criticism from just anybody. But then that's a whole different topic because we were talking about constructive criticism and then there's criticism and it's like, okay,
I got.
two completely different things. So
Mhm.
like, yeah, like I understand what you mean when you're like, okay, let's who are you to tell me like if you've never been a leader, like how are you going to tell a leader how to lead?
Right.
But it's like, I mean, if I don't know how to explain it, how I'm thinking. It's like, okay, if they're having some doubts or like, okay, I think you should do it like that. I feel like in my case, like if you were to tell me, hey, Jeanette, you should be doing this and this and that like this. Okay, why? And then they'd be like, oh, well, I think it's because blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, oh, okay, like I think the purpose is to start a conversation and see where their head is at. And then let's see, okay, because we weren't all just born leaders. As someone helped us out, someone we know we were. I mean, at least in my case, I asked questions, and to be a leader, you have to be super mega informed. So I mean, they're out there like asking questions and kind of like trying to get engaged. So you're there either to help them if they want to be helped, or if they're just trying to criticize you and make it seem constructive, then that's on you to point that out. I feel like that's how you should see it, and it's because it's not always criticism, but that's on you to create it in your own way. Like if you want them to help, it should be helpful.
Okay.
Can
I
I speak up? I've been like sitting over here like, damn, okay. Things are getting heated back and forth. All right. So from both of your guys' arguments, it it's like a double-ended sword, in my opinion. I see it as like Elijah, you're 100% right. Like I 100% agree with you that if someone doesn't have no idea how to run a business, like they don't know, like let's say their criticism, their constructive criticism, they can think, oh, a business, running a business is easy, like we can do it like this. And in reality they don't know how it works, like what goes on behind closed
they
doors.
don't
It
know what
sounds,
it takes to maintain it. They don't know what
yeah.
it takes. So yeah, it's yeah, yeah.
So it's like they don't know what's going on behind closed doors, and they don't know, like like it sounds good on paper, but when you're actually like trying to write it out and trying to like make that what's on paper come to life, it's a lot more work than what it just seems. And Jeanette is right. I agree with you 100% too, because it, like you said, like leaders, we aren't born leaders. Like no matter how much we want to think about it, like we were followers and we still are. But the thing is that I see that leaders need to have that mindset of always wanting to grow. And with that being said, every single leader should have that mindset where they should be all like, okay, how, like just how like Jeanette said, if someone's gonna come to you with constructive criticism, then have a conversation with them. Be like, okay, why do you think? And then not meet in the middle, but have that conversation to see if they truly understand what goes on. Like when you're actually like making that what's on paper come to life. And just to be able, just to make sure that you guys are, just to see that they actually do understand what is going on with the business. And I think that it also does depend on how you take the criticism. It both ways. Like the person who's telling you, it depends on how they are coming off to you. If
Mhm.
they're gonna come off to you aggressively, or if it the way that they wrote it just sounded rude or so, or just straight up blunt, like, hey, you are doing this wrong, then yeah, that would be more criticism. But if someone is coming to you and they're all like, hey, you know what? Um, I see what you're doing, I understand, but what do you think if we do this? Or not we. What if you think, what would happen if you do something like this? And just start brainstorming. Because it's not like you can't be the know-it-all of everything, because in reality we all don't know everything. So sometimes getting fresh ideas out from other people, like people reaching out to you saying like, hey, you know what, like um this would really change, spice it up a little. Like if you maybe do a giveaway or something, like just a random giveaway, like just have more people interact with the company and stuff. But then if that person's all like, well, no, I don't want to do a giveaway because like they're stingy in that case, you know, like let's say it's like that, then it's like you're breaking that opportunity to grow too. Because if you do a giveaway, everyone likes a free thing, you know, like it's just a raffle. You never know what's going to happen from it. But you're not giving that opportunity a chance. You're just straight up like, no, like you don't even want to see what the outcome of it is. And how you said too, like you don't know if you take their advice and it basically comes to shit afterwards, you know? And if that's the case, you know, business to me, I think businesses are going to have their ups and downs. And regardless, like you can be at rock bottom with the business, nothing is working out. And who knows, what if someone does suggest something and boom, just like that, the opposite happens. You start booming, that idea works out. It worked out with you. Um, whether it's whether it's communication skills or whatever they gave you that's constructive criticism, that type of criticism, you don't know really what that can really spark within you. But if you're not having it with an open mindset or being able to take the opportunity to grow from what they said or just talk it out, because just communicating in general, that allows space for growth. And I think that's what's really important when it comes to leaders, because like you said, we need to come at it with the same maturity. And if you're going to straight off the bat say like, well, you don't even know what you're doing, you know, then that maturity is already gone basically, because they're trying to come at you peacefully, or saying if they did, like I said, they come at you with the appropriate tone and not trying to tell you what to do, then that maturity, it's off balance once they already tell you like, no, you should do it like this and stuff. Or if it's the vice versa, that the person is who they're criticizing, if they're not accepting it with an open mind or so, and they're just like, well, what do you mean, then you're not being mature in that sense, because you're not letting fresh ideas come from it, or you're not trying to build a conversation from it, just like Jeanette said, like, okay, why do you think I should do it like this? Because if you're already cutting it off, then what good does that do for both of you? Because then the person who's giving that criticism, then they feel bad because they're all like, well, I didn't mean for them to take it that way, you know, I just thought that maybe if they did it like this, um it would be less stress or so, or less work, you know, work smarter, not harder. But if that person is all like, okay, I want to take the long road every single time, then it's all like, well, how much more gas are you spending? You know, like, so that's what I think. I think that everybody who's a leader, they they do need to maintain that maturity, but they also need to have that mentality of growth, especially when it's barely starting up. Because when you're big, yeah, it's a little different. It's all like, all right, I managed the ropes and everything, and now you're gonna tell me how to run my stuff. Like it's been working out for me well. But if you're just starting it, I don't think it'd be that bad of an idea to just take ideas or think like, hey, you know what, this actually sounds like I can work. And if that's the case, then you can just take that idea, well, not take it, but accept the criticism, and then work from it in the way that you want to, basically. You know, like, okay, you know what, I didn't think of it like that, but if I don't want to fully do it like that. I want to add my spice to it, you know? And then that's when you put your input, and then boom, you create something beautiful out of it. So that's my take on it.
Right. All right. I'm good with that. I can work with that. Um, Let me say this. I think that leaders, um, if you are taking constructive criticism from individuals, um, sometimes you don't always have to explain what goes on behind closed doors. Number one, it's the intention sometimes of the individual, and it can also be a business aspect. You can't share everything with your team. You can't share everything business wise with the leaders of your team. And the reason why is because what would happen if those same people that you are giving this information to decides and turns their back on you and tries to run your name in the street? Then that will not only ruin your reputation, but it will ruin the foundation of your business. Me being in the game, 21, uh, been in this since 2016, not as a clothing designer. But in the business aspect, since 2016, I have taken and seen everything. I've seen people, leaders, not just the team, but leaders actually degrade their own team. I've seen leaders say, um, "No, you shouldn't have did that. Um, you are a failure." Da 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 da. And then that team member is gone. So I think leaders should always um, be careful what they put out. I think if one of your team members come to you and says, "Hey, um, I think this is a good idea," or "I think you should look at it this way." Okay, let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. We're gonna talk about it. Why do you think it should be done like that? And then I'm gonna give you my response. By the end of the day, we're gonna come to a resolving a conclusion, and it's gonna work out. I think a lot of people are not mature enough to handle business. Let's be real. Some of our own team members are not mature enough to handle real business. Another part of transparency. A lot of people, having their issues with merch not showing up at the time. Let's break it down. Let's just I can share this part because we're gonna be transparent tonight. Um, I can share this part. What a lot of people who not only have purchased, but modeling wise, they don't know the uh, issues and spats with communication with um, the transportation from merch to this location. That's number one. Having to create and print and go out and spend over um, 300, maybe 350 on ink by itself. Not then having to go and purchase a whole bulk of packaging slips, then have to go all the way to the post office, buy in bulk boxes to put the merch in, and then have to get everybody's address, has to get everybody's name, shirt size, uh, favorite color, uh, when they're going to have it finished, all of this. And then not understanding COVID-19, not understanding the pandemic. There was a young man who came to me the other day. He said, you know, um, I order from Foot Locker almost every month, and my stuff gets in here between 2 and 3 weeks. Okay, look at Foot Locker's foundation. Look where they are. They are one of the most powerful shoe stores in the nation. This is not a powerful clothing brand. This is not a 5-star hotel. This is a small brand working towards greatness. Um, and people have taken leadership, they flipped it and created it to what they want it to be. So I think always, if you are a leader, be careful what you say, how you say it, who you say it to, and who you say it around. Because you can sit at a table with angels, but sometimes angels are not always angels, if you get what I'm saying. Uh, so you just got to be careful. So Jeanette, I'm gonna hand it back to you. Is there anything you want to say? No. Okay. Okay. One of my next questions, Devon, I'm gonna ask you, bro. Um, what do you think about leaders who take advantage of uh, their popularity, or they take advantage of the success they have come to? Let me ask you that.
Like greed wise, like it goes to their head.
Yeah, they're like their success, you know, will make them feel like they're above everybody else.
So how do I feel about it? I think that's trash. Because when you're going to start, like, you start with one mindset, and then you start being successful, you see those followers come up, you see that those dollar bills going higher and higher, you see more, whether it's orders or more album sales or more anything, more interactions with the company, and you're going to start seeing all those, yeah, that's going to go to your head a little. But and I feel that it's sort of like, I don't want to say that it's like a natural reaction for everyone, but for like a split second, greed does take over you for like real quick, and that's why it's a deadly sin, because it's something that can happen in an instant, like in a blink of an eye. Like, you can, that mindset can change so much. Like, once you take a bite out of that forbidden fruit, like, that temptation, you just unleashed it basically. And that's the part that you need to be able to control. Everyone has thoughts that they shouldn't be thinking, but it's what you do with those thoughts. Are you going to act upon those thoughts? Are you going to be basically like an asshole to your employees? Are you going to like say, oh, well, if you don't like what I'm doing, then just quit? Because then at that point, who's going to want to work with you? No one. And businesses or just brands or everything, something that you build, you didn't build that on your by yourself. And if you did, then you wouldn't need other people to be helping you out. You don't need people to be spreading awareness, or you don't need anyone. If you're gonna have that mentality that it goes to your head and it's all like, well, I can do whatever I want because look at me, I'm successful now, I got all this money, I look at all my followers and stuff. That really does take a toll. And if you are going to start acting like a jerk to those around you, to your friends who've been supporting you since day one, like whether it's buying, donating, or just helping you out in any way, spreading words or telling their friends and family, or you know what I mean? Like, just if you're going to start switching up on everybody and change that mentality that you first started with, and then you're going to, like, let's say you're going to be promoting positivity and happiness, and then later on you're still going to be promoting that, but behind closed doors you're going to be like treating your employees like shit, like you're going to be criticizing them all the time, you're going to be judging them, you're going to be telling them what to do, like always, like more than you first started, rather than seeing them. Because I mean, yeah, there is that difference between workers and friends, or doing business with friends, or you know what I mean, like people that you've grown with and stuff. Like, there's a division of when to be friends and when to be doing business if they're working with you, right? But if they're being friends with you and then you're going to start treating them like crap, or like treating them like they're lower individuals because you're successful or because your brand is booming or whatever, then you're an asshole. Like, that's in my opinion. Like, sorry that it's being blunt and everything, but there's just no other way to put it. Like, how can you treat someone who's been riding with you since day one like like that? Like, how are you gonna backstab them or just turn on them like that when they've been helping you? Like I said, you didn't do this by yourself. You needed help of other people to grow and to be able to get to where you are right now. And that's for speaking with anything, like whether it's your personality or like the way that you changed your mindset. Yeah, you can do that by yourself, but you still needed your environment. You still needed the people that you interact with to help you out just to grow on your own. So if you're going to turn around and then just like slap everyone in the face and be all like, haha, like I did it and y'all haven't yet or whatever, like what is that? What is that? Because most of the time, friends, like your good friends that are riding with you and supporting you, and no matter what you're doing, they shouldn't be wishing you harm. They shouldn't be wishing you bad or wishing that your company is in down going to fail or whatever. They shouldn't be. And I would like to think that they're not. And if that's the case, and if you think of that of your friends, and their actions are also reflecting that, like they are supporting, then how are you gonna be that person to turn around and then just like flip them off basically and be all like, well, I don't need you, like look at me. Like no matter how successful you are, no matter how high your business is succeeding, I don't care if you have like 1 million followers on your brand or whatever, you know, those people, they will come back, and that karma is, it is going to get you back no matter what. Like you will get your, like, it's going to sound good right now, like karma, I don't know who that is or whatever, but boom, you know, and a year later, bankruptcy, you got to file for bankruptcy, you have no one, you're going to be out here begging everybody for like help me out, you know, and just like, and everyone's going to be like, oh, like the same person that like backstabbed me, or the same person that like flipped me off. So like there, it's going to come back to you regardless. And like I said, if you're going to be out here letting everything go to your head and not, like, things, they can go to your head, you know, and a lot of people, sometimes it goes to their head without realizing. But if someone is gonna try and put you back in your place and be like, "Hey, yo, you've been switching up or whatever," and then you're still gonna be arrogant and ignorant, basically, like trying to be all like, "No, I'm not," or whatever. Like, I'm chilling. Like, you're jealous of me because then you switch the roles. You know, you're telling them, "Nah, you're jealous of me because of look at what I'm doing." And in that case, it's like, what the hell? Like, I'm just saying, you've been switching it up ever since you've been putting yourself on a pedestal. You know, so.
Yeah. Listen, yeah, listen, listen. Yes, you are absolutely,
He
absolutely
said
correct.
yes. That's the tweet.
Absolutely,
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's it. Just
That's it.
yes. Next question.
you are. That, that is it. I trust me. There have been people and have that have joined Savage and have left because of their own, you know, feelings. I'll say that. Um, and they would go out and on social media publicly and talk and dog Savage. They would dog me. They would dog the team. And one of the best things that I've actually ever experienced with Savage was we had a team member. I'm not going to call him name because it's not about personnel. Um, we had a team member, and she joined, and very good friends. Love her to death. Still love her. We good. And she came and she, you know, she did what she was supposed to. Um, we've had some, you know, small little issues here and there, but we a family, like the team is, so we're gonna resolve it. But she didn't like the way our team calls were handled, so she decided, out of her own mind, that she would quit because she did not like the way our team calls were led. Before you guys came, it was me and maybe 5, 6 people that were actually on our team until we started to grow. But she didn't like the way things were run. So she quit. And when I tell you, she dogged Savage Clothing from the rooter to the tutor, she dogged Savage. And when I mean dogged it, I mean she tried to literally uh, contact every member of the team, tell them how she felt, and tell them that they should quit. She told the models that they should leave. She even went as far as contacting one of my very good friends and told him, um, I think Elijah Hart, he is not a very legit leader. He does not do things that a leader should have things ran. Uh, and he knows nothing about business. She went a little further. And when I tell you karma is real, it's real. She, as you guys know, my great grandmother died 2013. I had a picture of her on one of our first websites, and under it, it was, you know, this is Elijah Hart's grandmother, dedicated to her. Da, 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 da. She took the picture. She went and created a fake profile page on Instagram, put my grandmother's picture as a profile picture, And every post that she posted was all negativity about Savage. So look at the profile picture. You take my great grandmother's picture and you put it on a fake profile, and you make it all negative because of how you felt. Karma's real. About a month later, I get a call from her boyfriend, who is now officially a part of our team, and he says, "I just heard that so and so would like to join your team, and she would like to sew." Okay, it's fine with me. She can't join though. So this individual, she went a little further. She did some extra. I don't like people to get hurt, but if you do me wrong, you know, you know, uh, we got a problem. So she ended up getting into a car accident. I was disappointed. It was sad, but you get what you give, and you reap what you sow. So I think always that people should be careful on everything that they do, everything that they say, and how they handle things. Uh, and I'm gonna say this because I just got a text from one of our team members. She wanted me to ask this question to you guys. Shout out to Jatita Catherine Cat, that's my sister. Uh, she wanted to know, all of us, but I'm gonna start with Jeanette. Who do you look up to for inspiration or mentorship as it pertains to the businesses that you were in?
Like businesses that I was in.
Yeah, she said, who do you look up to for inspiration or mentorship in businesses that you have been a part
Um, I mean,
of?
I'm
Or I'll shorten it. I'll just say this. Who do you look up to for inspiration or mentorship?
you see, the thing is, I myself, I've never ever idolized someone in the sense of like, wow, like I look up to this person and like I think they're perfect and I want to be just like them. I've never, I don't know why. Some people do, they have like their one person like, whoa, if you can, whatever, like they have their main person that's like up here to them. No, I've never, because I learn little things from many people that I take to heart. So I wouldn't say idolize, but I look up to a lot of people for certain things. So it's a complicated question. So like let's say like as in like my life right now, I do have a mentor that's helping me, like a literal mentor, and I look up to her right now because she is pursuing she's already doing what I want to pursue in like career wise. So right now she's taking me under her wing and is helping me in regards to marketing. So right now I could say that that she's my mentor and stuff like that. Or, you know, what I've always said in regards to, I've always looked up to my mom. My mom to me is my everything. So it's like, you gotta be kind of like specific. Like at least I always take things, I look up to a lot of my friends. I like to have good people around me in order because I've hung out with different groups and I've always seen that like whoever I'm hanging out with, I guess, always rubs off on you. So I've always like looked up to my friends and always hung out with good people in order for like that goodness to rub off on me and we can all just grow together. So I guess it's like a really complicated question in regards to like how I am as a person because I love to soak in. I'm so open minded. I soak in like from everyone, at least every little good thing. And if it's bad, then it's like everything that's bad to me is like a lesson. So I was like, okay, this thing that was bad happened to me. Like, what did I learn from this? I never take it as negative. If it was negative, I switch it up. So that's my answer.
Right, Devon, I'm gonna ask you that question. Uh, who is one person uh, that you look up to for inspiration or mentorship?
So I'm the exact same as Jeanette. I'm not even gonna lie. But the funny part is that this question is a question that I've always never liked to answer for this exact reason. like when I did my training for my job, um they had asked the same question, like, who do you look up to? And it, like, I stood there and I was all like, I don't know. Like, I'm my own person. Yeah, like myself, because I'm like, it is a cocky way, but in the sense, not that I'm saying like, oh, I'm perfect, like I do everything perfect. Like, obviously no. But I mean, like, I shouldn't have to look up to someone else in order to love myself, if that makes sense. So and before I used to be like really low, right? And like I said, I would always put other people before me. But that's not the point here. My thing is that self love that I have, like Jeanette said too, it's a, like, she gets to grow from it. So the people that she surrounds herself from, like, they rub off. So, like, Jeanette's personality, or the way that she is not letting stress get to her, that's rubbed off on me. My mom, I would say too, she is my inspiration, because that woman has gone through hell and back. Like, I mean hell and back, from since I was like born, even before then, and her strength. If I need someone to give me strength, I turn to my mom. Like, that woman is so strong, and everything that she's gone through, I admire that. And I would even say that I look up to you for inspiration. And you, Elijah, you, you, sir, you. I look up to you because I've never met someone who sends messages out of the blue saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" Or I hope you have a blessed day today." I've never met someone like that. And that has rubbed off on me. And I mean, I haven't messaged people yet, but like, that's rubbed off on me in the sense that when I see something off about someone, I shoot them a message and I'm like, "Hey, yo, is everything good?" And like, that has rubbed off on me, and it's helped me grow as a person as well, because never in a million years would I message someone out of the blue if I saw that they're having a bad day, or like something's just different about them. I would have never messaged them. I would have been all like, all right, well, they're weirdos, like, they're just not vibing. But now, like, I do think about it and I'm like, hey, yo, like, they're not, maybe they're obviously not like going through the worst, but they're super stressed. But even like, for example, once I posted on Instagram, like, it was a post and it was just me saying, like, repeat after me, like, I will be successful, I will find happiness, I am loved. And I posted something like that just because I felt like it, just spreading positivity for other people to, like, actually repeat after me and repeat those affirmations, speak them out. And someone did message me and they're like, okay, but why did I really need this today? And it's, to me, it's like, wow, like, I didn't even I posted in the intentions to spread like positivity, but it wasn't until like later that I realized, like, this is actually good. Like, some people, they do, like, if sometimes people, we pray for signs, positive signs. And let's say you just finished praying and then you go and you see something like that, you're just like, whoa. So, like I said, I look up to you for inspiration, because you do inspire me to be a better person, to spread that positivity, to spread that love. And like, if I need um motivation to execute something, like, I'll look up to Kendrick Lamar. Like, the things that he says, like, if it's like, for example, Black Lives Matter, like, that dude, he, on his album Damn, like, everything that he had to say, the stories that he was speaking, like, just the truth, and just opening my mindset to new things, like to open my eyes to see how someone else who lived a completely different life than me is living, to see how what they're growing from, so very powerful people like that. Like, even like Martin Luther King, he was always like, don't have violence. And even then I'm all like, okay, Malcolm X though, like, have violence. Like, it's, I take a little bit from a lot of influential people, because they, of what their message and their mindsets. Like, I'm, of course, I'm not like 100% like Malcolm X, like, let me join the Black Panthers party and just like beat fucking white people up, like, I don't fully agree. Like, I need to be provoked for that, in that sense, to happen. But in the sense, I see the balance between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, because Malcolm X, he was like, enough's enough. Like, obviously being peaceful isn't working out. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, first start peaceful, then, so it depends on like the situation. And just like Jeanette said, like it rubs off on who it comes from, or whenever I need, like, let's say, like I said, if I need strength, then I'll talk to my mom, and she'll hear me out, and she'll just like give me advice. Or she's all like, if I'm thinking of something stupid, and then she's like, shut up, you're stupid. Like she'll tell me how it is, and then she'll just be all like, you're stronger than this, like you can be a better person. And if I need inspiration, or just to open up, to have a better heart, I can come to you, Elijah, and I can be all like, talk to me, basically. Like, how's your day? Like, what about it are what are you thankful for today? And that alone too, like, that helps me, because even like in the mornings, you send some good morning text, and you're like, oh, I hope you guys have a blessed day. And like, it'll be the first thing that I see when I wake up, and I'm all like, hey, you know what, like, I feel a little better. Like, even though I hate waking up, like, I'm just like, wow, like, someone actually wished that I had a blessed day today, and not that many people can do so. So that's I have multiple inspirations, multiple people that I look up to, but it's for that reason that every person shares something different. And that's how I see it too. Like, I can't just idolize someone, because someone is, like Jeanette said, not everyone is perfect too. So it's like, I can't, like, I've had conflicts with my mom or so I can't idolize her, because I'm all like, well, sometimes I don't like the way that you think, like, when it comes to this. So then that's why it's important for me to have multiple people that inspire me in certain aspects, because of their mindsets, or because of something that they've done.
Let me. Ooh, jeez, you took me to a place. You took me to a place. Let me say this to answer your question. Uh, who do I look up to for inspiration and mentorship? For mentorship, I have a lot of people, because there are people that I have seen that have reached the goals that I want to reach. So I look to them to see how they accomplished it, to make sure I get that way. For inspiration, I'm not going to be conceited, but I look to myself, and I'm going to tell you why. When you have been through the storm and the rain, and you have seen and done things people would never think that you would do, going from a great childhood to sitting in a car by yourself with no food, no money, trying to figure out how you're going to go through the next day, looking at everything that I've had to go through, and I'm not going to cry. I said I wasn't going to cry on this call. Um, Looking at everything that I've had to go through, from losing um, my girlfriend, who I truly love. Like, she was gonna be my wife. She was my boo tag. She was gonna be everything. And from that to grandmother, from people, slandering your name, uh, physical or emotional flashbacks of being thrown up against the wall by your family, to then sitting in a car on a Tuesday evening, no food, no clothes. I had what I had on, no way to shower, didn't know where I was going to go, had no money for gas, sitting in a car doing my first launch. Nobody ever knew. And I think that, and I say this as it pertains to leadership. Real leadership is when you do business broken, when you do it hurt, when you do it disturbed, or you feel a breakdown. People don't understand that There have been times before leadership calls, before launches, before trainings, before even team calls. Elijah Hart would sit down and actually break down, and then 3 minutes before the call, have to pull myself together and put on a hype face to make everybody okay, make everybody feel better. Um, I look at everything that I've been through and now accomplishing things that I never thought I would accomplish at 21. At 21, I would say this, accomplishing things at 21, I thought I would accomplish them at least at 30, 40 years old. Never thought. So I look to myself for this, and I'm gonna say this, Jeanette, just in case we get any comments that say, because we had our disagreement in the first part of the podcast, I'm gonna say this, Jeanette.
What are you
Seeing,
gonna say? What is he gonna say?
The
seeing,
suspense, the
seeing,
suspense.
seeing.
He's like, you're fired. Ah.
You're
seeing
no longer welcome on Savage. You are. Please exit through the front door.
hey, goodbye. But seeing you, or I'm not even going to say just you by yourself, but seeing people beyond beyond them seeing themselves. When I see you, and Devonne, I'm gonna come to you. When I see you, I literally see a passion but afraid to accomplish. And I don't know if it may be true, it may not be true. But you have literally so much to offer that if you do not take advantage of what's getting ready to happen in the next 3 months, you are about to see things you never thought you'd see. You're about to go places you never thought you'd go. Devon, me and you talked about it the other night, or actually today, if it was. Um, um, one of the co-owner, Savage Clothing, Mrs. Daylin, she came to me. She said, "Who are these people? When you guys finish y'all's photo shoot, listen." She said, "Who are these people?" I said, This is Devon and Jeanette." And she said, are they team members?" And I don't think at the time you guys were a team. I don't think, I can't remember. And I said, I don't think so. I can't remember what I said. And she said, first thing she said, "Are they a couple?" I said, "I don't know these people. I don't know them. Like, I don't know. That's their business."
You're like, they just work for me? Yeah. Okay.
They just take pictures.
She was like, "Okay, okay." And from all of our, me and me training her in, leadership things of that nature. Uh, that's one thing we can talk about, because when I see y'all, I see not. I'm not. I'm cutting this out of the podcast because this ain't even supposed to be in it. But when I see both of y'all, it's like power couple. I did not think when y'all told me you guys, I think it was Jeanette. You said when we build our team, let's me and Devon do it together. I was like, oh, okay, 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 all right here. But truly, I have to say to each of you, number one, thank you, because if it had not been for y'all, Savage wouldn't be kind of where it is. Uh, if y'all weren't the ones putting on that first call we ever did with all of them people, uh, if it wasn't for y'all shouting out and doing launch posts, I was like, who in the does that? That was just absolutely amazing. So I have to say I love y'all. Y'all, Jeanette, you my little sister. You already know. Devonne, you my little brother. Anything you need, I got you. One last question, and we gonna cut it off here. What is the most dangerous trait in a leader? In a leader. Devon, I'm gonna hand it to you, bro.
The most dangerous trait in a leader. That's a little hard one because I can think of a lot of them. I was gonna say for starters, I don't think a leader's gonna be negative, but I want to say negativity. Like I don't know why that's so strong towards me, but I guess the negativity ties into like how we talked earlier about thinking you're superior than everyone. Like because negativity can come in a bunch of different forms. You know, it's not just being negative about what you're doing. It's just that mindset of being like thinking that you're above everyone, thinking that everything needs to go your way, thinking for yourself and not the people. Like that's a negative way of thinking. So I feel that like negativity, greed, jealousy, um, hatred. Hatred's a big one because if you're a leader, like if you have beef with people, right? And you're a leader and you're going to take that beef on a business level, like if for example, for Savage, if this was like my brand or so and someone I hated was supporting the brand, what good does that do for me? You know, there we don't see eye to eye. What we had beef with was in the past, and so. But if you're gonna start bringing up the past and having that irritate you in a way, like if that's gonna mess with your judgment, or if that's going to, like, if you are like, oh, well, I want everyone to support me except these people, like your head's in the wrong space. Like you're doing things more for you rather than the people.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta ask both of y'all. Because I truly, I need help with this, and I just like, I need help. How would you guys handle an individual that you have had bad business relationship and friendship with them, and they go out and they purchase merch on a website that you supposedly run and you own? How would you handle that? Like, how would you, for instance, Jeanette, if you had a makeup company and one of somebody that you did not like and you had bad business with came and purchased and wanted to set up a Zoom call with you, how would y'all handle that? Like how would you guys handle that?
Well, to me, first of all, like communication is everything. So let's say I do get that email or whatever, I would be getting a notification of like, hey, so and so purchased something of mine. And then I'm like, hey, I don't like so and so. What are they doing buying my stuff, you know? And then so I would reach out honestly and be like, hey, I noticed you bought, product of mine. Thank you. Like, why? For what, you know? And then if they're like, okay, oh, I've gotten over what we've had or whatever, like, hey, over it. Like, I really like what you're doing and I'm supporting you. Okay, bet, done deal. Because some people, at least I'm a good I'm good at like getting over things or whatever. Like I forgive, but I don't forget, So it's not like, hey, I'm gonna like give you free merch and you're gonna sponsor me. Like, no, okay, like, yeah, thank you for supporting. Doesn't mean, you know, we're gonna be fantastic. You're not gonna be part of my brand or anything, or like not so soon. You have to regain whatever trust you did lose. But for me, it's just that communication. Like, okay, why did you do that? Like, if they give me like a so-so answer and it kind of seems fishy to me, I'm like, okay, they don't have good intentions. Like, I don't know why they did that, but
All right. Okay. Okay. I needed help because so
Okay, Elijah, who spilled the beans? Who bought merch?
Ah.
it's an individual that was a part of our team back in June, uh, and I fired her because she had stolen finances. I put her over finances, and I put her over our sales on the website, and she had took I think it was like $75, and she had taken it and put it in her own bank account. Who does that? So I let her go. But she recently contacted my assistant and purchased on the website. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like that's why I was like, I don't know. I need y'all help because like I don't want to go back to my gangster type, you know.
No, well, I mean, she bought merch. I mean, she's donating and she's giving back to the company. I mean, what can you? I mean, what do
Yeah.
you do with that? Like,
I,
yeah, I mean, I would be fine with it just because I mean, the company is for a good cause, so it's like, thanks, like even like I don't understand how you can mess up or what can you do
The
with it.
only thing is because um, from experience, or I think I'm just going to say overall, um, you can you know give to people, but you can also throw it back up in their face if y'all were to clash. For instance, Devon, if you had a company and I did something just out the way, and I came back, supported, apologized, and we got into it again, and I just took that. Oh, well, I gave you this, this, and this. So why are you treating me like this, and this? That's kind of my thing. I'm a little nervous because I don't want to get on the phone call with this individual, and you know,
I mean,
she,
they can't throw that back at you because they did it on their own. Like if you guys haven't spoken, like how do you throw at someone something that they did on their own? Like, hey, if I asked for your help and you helped me, yes, I mean you can throw it at me like, hey, bro, I helped you. Like, no, I mean, yes, you helped, but like on your own terms, like you wanted to help, so you can't throw that back at me. Like, I never told you, hey, buy my merch. It's like,
Thanks, Devon. Uh,
sorry.
it's okay.
all
I
right,
agree. I agree. Cause I was gonna say, like, I agree with Jeanette. Like, forgive but don't forget, and that's. I think. I think Elijah, your guard is always up, like nonstop, 24/7. Like that's what I've noticed. Your guard is up at an all-time high always. And for me, if I were doing it, I would have it the approach that Jeanette said, like forgive but don't forget. Like definitely wouldn't be accepting that person. Like if they're all like, "Oh yeah, like I know we had our troubles and stuff, like with the team and everything. I know I stole." Like, how do you just forgive someone that stole money from a good cause? Like you don't. And well, I you can, right? Like if God can do it, I can. But it's really hard. And if that's the case, I'd be like, well, you did what you did. That was in the past, right? But level of trust is completely gone. There's no way that I can trust you in a business, right? Because this is still my stuff. And if they did it in the first place, then they had intentions to do like harm, or not harm, but do bad for your business, basically. So it's like, if you, what, how, from the time right then and now, like how much have you changed? How much have you grown? And how do I know that you're not going to do it again? So a better way to stay away from it is just thank you for your purchase. I really appreciate it. It's going to a great cause. Like we all know, the purchases aren't coming to us. So thank you. I really appreciate it. But if you're trying to win your way back into my heart, sorry, you can kiss it goodbye because I ain't gonna do that. Like,
but okay. So this is the thing. This was not the first. I'm a person of I for team members. I literally give them three chances. Third chance, goodbye. You got to go because you're not producing anything in order for the brand to go forward. Um, but this wasn't the first time that she did it. She did it on at least um, When did she get here? She got here June, a week before my birthday. Uh, Goldie got here 3 weeks later.
Wait, that she did what? She stole or that she bought?
No, she stole. On, I think I'm gonna at the least 3 times, at the least. But the first maybe once or twice, I was kind of like, okay, maybe something's wrong. Maybe, you know, I'm just like, okay, maybe,
Maybe
maybe,
there was a glitch in the system.
exactly.
She just happened to be there.
Maybe something happened. I don't know. But then it happened again. So I was like, okay, let me talk to my boys. We're like, okay, yo, what you think is wrong problem? We went on the website, we checked everything. I was like, okay, maybe, it's maybe something wrong. And she did it again. And that's why I was like, okay, this ain't no damn glitch. This ain't no damn nothing. This wench is over here stealing money off of our square. And she took it. I'm like, yo, like, and when I confronted her, of course, of course, I almost never mind. I almost called her out of her name. Lord forgive me. Um, she of course would say and deny that. Why y'all laughing?
You straight up this witch. Like I don't know why that shit was too funny, but this witch, she did it 3 times. Like, damn, bro, I'm sorry, but
Oh
at
my
that
god.
case, if it was the second time, I would have been like, all right, what's your problem? Because stealing obviously is completely different, but it's just like, oh, but 3 times, bro.
3 times. 3 times. I'm
Damn,
telling you,
she did you
if
dirty.
y'all knew some of the stuff team members have done to Savage, y'all, man, that's why I interviewed everybody because you got it 3 times, and I was just lightly scared because I was like, I don't know if I should have this call with her. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know. Uh,
So this is, I think, I don't know why she wants to have a call with you. That's kind of weird. But I would be all like, let me see what this witch got cooking. Like, let me see what she want. And then once she starts being all like, well, I don't know why I'm off the team, or once she starts playing the part, that's when I'm gonna be like, you know what? I tried. I wanted to speak it out, but either way, like I'd already go in that intention of not. I mean, unless you don't want to waste your time. But for me, I'm just all like, well, I want to hear them out, because I can forgive them, but like I said, I'm not going to forget, and I'm not going to not necessarily fully forgive. Like I'm not going to hold it against me. Like if someone's going to come around and mention that person, I'm not going to be all like, bro, f that person. But if we finally spoke it out one last time, and they really did me dirty in this case, like steal from like the brand that I'm trying to build, then I would hear them out just so that I can sort of clear my conscience, because your subconscious, it's powerful. So you're going to be thinking about it constantly, and even some time to time you will think about it genuinely, even though you're still like f that person, like you still think about it. Your brain is weird. But I would hear it out just to sort of get that closure, because from her, I don't know what the hell she'd be thinking. Like, well, maybe if I bought merch and come up with it, that's my forget. Like, we're good, right? We're good. I bought merch. I stole 3 times, but I bought some merch. Like, I, I supported, but bro, you still supported from charity. Like, I mean, you still stole from charity. How you do that?
question of the entire situation is Elijah, who is the owner of the brand, does not take a paycheck, does not take any donations, no sales, nothing, nothing. And you are powerful and bold enough to do that?
Yeah, they built different. And I've never been part of friends with people who have those intentions. Thank
No
God.
problem.
Swear, like everything, because goddamn, I swear, wow, like the stories you tell me about like people stealing from you and stuff. I literally have never met people like that, like so selfish and so greedy just to like backstab someone who's like genuinely trying to do something good, like with the issues around the world, trying to get back to the community, and you're telling me you're gonna steal from charity? Because that's
I,
basically what it sounds like. Like she's just all like, well, I mean, this money, it's not going to Elijah anyway. And it's like, what the hell? Okay, but this money's going to people who need it, like organizations, the movement that needs it, like suffering, everything that's going on. The money's going back for a reason, and you're just all like, I don't know. I'm just going to
but
steal from
and
this
I
person.
had to realize, I was wondering. I said, is she taking me? Because y'all know me. I'm nice. I'm very humble. I'm just, I'm hype. So I'm wondering if she took my niceness and she was like, well, I just nice. He's cool like that. He ain't gonna flip.
Or she just thought that you'd be dumb enough to never notice.
Shit.
And that's
I'm sorry.
insulting.
I'm sorry. Podcast. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I have honestly, how do you not have a negative reaction towards someone who literally did you this dirty? Like it something you build obviously, and it's still something small, it's not like if we have like a million followers or whatever and stuff. Like it's not like we're booming worldwide and everything. This is something small that you've put sweat, work, and tears in, and for her to just be all like, yo, Elijah, that money looking a little good. Like, nah, bro, get out of here. Like you're a weirdo for that. And it's just, that just makes no sense. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, what goes through your mind? And then for her to be all like, all right, well, I'm gonna buy some merch, clear my conscience, have a good place on my heart. Like, you know what? Yeah, I did this, but I still bought the merch. Because I'm pretty sure that's why she could be doing it. I could be wrong. I don't know what's going on through her mind. But at the same time, her intentions, they were already negative to begin with. To steal 3 times, obviously the first time, fool me once, shame on you. I mean, shame on me, fool me twice. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? And fool me 3 times, like I'm an idiot, basically. Like go kill myself because there's no way. Well, I shouldn't say go kill myself. That's not very nice. But like forget me, basically. Like I fell for it a third time, basically. Like it's just why would I? It's my fault, I guess, for giving her like the first time. Like okay, it could have been if maybe she really needed that money to pay her bills or something, like she was on the verge of homelessness or something, we don't know, right? But then if you're going to tell me you're going to do it another 2 times, because usually, like if you think about it, that's how scammers work. Like they only take out a little bit of money first because you don't realize, and then you're just like, oh well, maybe like I did buy something but I forgot. And then later on they're like they do it little by little, and then later on they're like boom, take me all that money and run, like they didn't notice all those times. So if you didn't say anything those first 2 times, then that third time, then obviously she's gonna be all like, he's another payday for me, and it's just like, come on, man, like for real, like you're gonna be this, like she's gonna get her karma for sure, and we're gonna be positive over here. So she's gonna want, is she a real witch, and she's gonna be wishing harm on us. God's got all of us. We pray for everyone, but karma will do her part basically. And if, like I said, I'd hop on that call just to hear her out, see what she has to say. Obviously, my guard's gonna be super high up. Like I'm gonna be like, you're gonna talk to me, and I'm gonna be holding back, like trying to cuss you out or something, because I'm trying to keep it professional and mature.
And,
But thinking the fact that you are still trying to contact me after everything you've done, it's like, come on,
I
and
wouldn't
like
have that call. I just have like, here's the thing that you bought because you bought it. Here it is. See ya.
let me I'm gonna close it out in like less than 10 minutes. But let me say this: for leadership, I think a lot of leaders, including myself, that we've had moments where we wanted to say some things to some team members. There have been moments where we had to hold back a lot, and we've had to, put up our standard and stay professional, and that's a hard thing to do because it's a great thing to be a leader, but it's a hard thing to be human because it's hard.
them
It is hard.
emotions,
It is hard.
those
Uh,
emotions really take over.
Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Uh, but we done went and talked about a whole nother subject tonight. I'm gonna ask you guys this one last question, and then we're gonna put our closing remarks out. Devon, or no, Jeanette, um, as a female, speaking, from your own experience, so what is one thing that you can give to uh, young leaders? And before you answer that, after we finish this podcast, I have an idea I want to share with y'all. It's really big, so y'all just stay a little bit more. But anyway, um, as a female leader, what is one thing or one piece of advice you would give to young people who are destined to lead, whether it be a company, be a small business? What is your advice?
Um, advice. I don't know. Um, I guess. Hmm, I think there's a lot. Like just. I feel like for me, communication along with comprehension, comes into play. Because yeah, anyone can just communicate, but like understanding one another is what's good. Yeah, because everyone can just hear each other out. Like, yeah, we're communicating, but are we really understanding what we're like trying to say? So it's like, I feel like that's key, and to just really separate, business and like friendships, I guess, or personal relationships. Really, really don't take things personal. Like I mentioned earlier, like if we disagree on the item and not disagree with each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't take it personal. Like I've had business meetings myself where I personally don't agree with, what my best friend is saying, but we're in a business setting. But then after the meeting, like, hey, we're gonna go like grab dinner. Okay, cool. Like, let's go hang out. Stuff like that. Like, learn how to separate. We'll learn how to communicate efficiently and comprehend each other, and then just learn how to separate business and side relationships, whether it be friendship or whatnot.
Mr. Jackson?
Am I still talking to the young ladies or to the young
Oh,
fellas?
to, to young male individuals. To young male individuals.
Fellas, brothers, keep your emotions in check. Because I am a very fiery person by nature, and I am also always on my defense, on full on defense. If you're gonna come at me a little off, it rubs me the wrong way, I'm gonna be on my guard and I'm gonna come at you. You need to keep that in check, basically, because communicate it first before you unleash the beast. Like it, you obviously the number one thing is never speak out of anger. Always control your emotions, because if you speak out of anger, whether to anyone, business or friendship wise, if you speak out of anger, you're going to say some things that you can never take back. And no matter how many times you apologize, no matter how you apologize, whether you like buy them a new car or something, you still said it out of anger, because anger really shows how you feel. And I say put your emotions in check when you're going to go about it business wise, when you're going to have communication. Now, when it's creating your business and trying to come up, I my one recommendation is absorb everything. Positivity, negativity, criticism, all of it. Absorb all of it and use that to your advantage. All that negativity, or like, this is why they say don't tell your friends about your moves. Do your moves in the shadows first and then come out, because your friends, you may think that they're your homies from the start, like they're chilling and everything. But if you come up with an idea and you tell them before you execute it, they're either gonna, if they're all like, hey, that's a hype ass idea, they're gonna either want to copy it because you're not gonna act upon it. They're either gonna talk about or put you down, being like, bro, you don't even have the capabilities of doing that because you haven't even executed it yet. And like it's just like, oh yeah, I was just thinking maybe I can do it like this, and then they'll be like, no, you're stupid, and then boom, just like that idea, you throw it out because friends have such a deep impact on our thoughts. They really influence the way we think. So keep your business in the shadows until you're finally ready to execute it, until you have everything set out. Focus on you before you include other people, because once you include those other people right when you're brainstorming, that automatically doesn't become your vision, it becomes the other people's visions. We tend to always reflect on the other people around us. So if they're going to come at you negatively, then you're just going to have negative thoughts about what you're trying to do and just quit altogether. But if you keep it to yourself, you don't, no matter how much you got to bite your tongue to not speak up and say, yo, I got this plan, I got this cooking and something, even if it's your best friend, keep it to yourself until that moment of execution. Until, like, for example, if it's a brand, don't get no one and don't get anything, don't get anyone. Have that plan laid out. Know that you're gonna do this, and this, and then you can start thinking of, okay, if I need people, this is how I'm. These are the people that I put it all together first. So that way, if someone's gonna come at you with criticism, you reflect it back. You absorb it. You can be all like, okay, I didn't even think of that, but writing it down, and I'm gonna switch to this part because you haven't even finished it, right? But you have everything planned and set. You're ready to launch and everything. But some things they can still use some tweaking. So use criticism and that negativity to grow, and that's the best way to do it. Think about one thing that I wanted to mention earlier was um, using your, like, the who do you look up to? Your enemies. Look up to your enemies because they're your enemies because they're the opposite of you. So use that as your motivation to be like, I don't want to be as low as them or get to their level. So being able to manipulate that negativity and that criticism, to use that to grow. Even constructive criticism is constructive for a reason, right? But when it's actual criticism, like they're trying to put you down, they're trying to hurt your feelings, they're filling you with negative thoughts and stuff, use that as growth to motivate you to be like, you're trying to stop me from my vision, so I'm going to go at it 10 times harder. Always be motivated and always keep your head up. And I mean, this still goes for the ladies and the fellas. But for fellas, for sure, keep your emotions in check. And for everyone, use absorb everything and use that to your advantage to better everything that you're doing.
Well spoken, Pastor Jackson. Uh, that was well done. Um, let me close it out with this. For both men and women, and for the people that are actually on this call, Jeanette and Devonne, you can be creative, but be yourself. Always be yourself. Do not change for people. Do not lower your standards for people. And always, whatever you do, be who you know you are to be, and be that to people so that they can reciprocate the same. Um, so that's one of the big things. Always treat people the same way you want to be treated. So we're gonna close it out tonight. I want to first thank off Mr. Devonne Jackson, Pastor Jackson. That's gonna be his new nickname in the group chat, Pastor Jackson. And I want to thank my little sister, Mrs. Jeanette. Um, Nobody in the comments dog her because I know we had a little disagreement in the beginning, but she is my little sister. We family, so it's all gonna be Gucci in the Gucci.
That's the point of the podcast. We're supposed to have different point of views. All boring if we thought the same. Like,
I
there's
swear.
no room for growth if we all thought the same.
What is
Like,
this? A cult? Like the hell? I'm not supposed to be thinking like you.
Yeah, thank you guys both. Um, for everybody watching, we will be having our podcast filmed we'll be filming. I'm gonna talk to my co-host because we gotta but we're gonna have it at least one every other week. So you guys stay tuned for that. We got a special guest, my little sister, one of Greenleaf's on Oprah's TV shows, Desiree will be our next guest. Me and her FaceTime earlier today. She's going to be on our call. She's actually going to be on our leadership call. And that's kind of, yeah. So, yeah. But other than that, I love you guys. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, turn on that post notification, comment, like, about to get it going. All right. Much love. Much love.